He called me when I was at work and he said, "I feel like I'm dying." And so I told him that he probably needed to go into the doctor. Right away, they tested his blood sugars. His numbers were off the charts. I guess he had all the classic signs and symptoms of somebody experiencing diabetic ketoacidosis. Right there in the urgent care, diagnosed him with type 1. He was about to turn 24. I said, type 1 diabetes is for kids. Over the past 20 or 30 years, more and more adults are being diagnosed with that. Things changed in our house right away. The responsibility of a type 1 diabetic is extreme. They're basically acting as their own pancreas. He actually called me from the pharmacy and he said, "This is gonna be really expensive." And I said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I just had to pay like $350. And I said, "Did you give him your insurance card?" He's like, "Oh yeah." He managed his diabetes the best that he could. He didn't let it control his life. He got a promotion at his job, felt comfortable moving out by himself. I just had to deal with the fear. Before taxes, he was making about $40,000 a year. He was approaching his 26th birthday. I knew at that point that he was going to be aging off of my insurance. You know, he's 26 and first time having insurance on his own, he had no idea what a deductible was. The insurance that I felt comfortable with was costing about $450 a month. He decided that he would not purchase that insurance, that he would use that $450 a month to pay for his prescriptions at the pharmacy. But he felt like temporarily he could manage paying for his prescriptions out of pocket. He realized that he was ultimately going to have to look for a new job that offered benefits. I don't think either one of us had a true grasp on just how expensive being a type 1 diabetic is without insurance. I mean, it was expensive when he had insurance, but without insurance, completely unaffordable. So on June 1st of 2017, he was officially uninsured. Went to the pharmacy the very first time to refill his prescriptions on June 22nd of 2017, was asked to pay $1,300. And that would have covered 1 month's supply of insulin. He didn't have $1,300 in the bank. Left that pharmacy with nothing. He went home and he started rationing his insulin. About 5 p.m. on June 27th, I got a phone call from his girlfriend. She found him on his bedroom floor. The medical examiner felt like Alec had been gone for probably 18 hours at that point when his body was found. So sometime on June 26th, Alec passed away alone in his apartment. He died from diabetic ketoacidosis from rationing his insulin. So he made it about 4 days after he left that pharmacy without his medication. It was 3 days short of his payday. You know, in my heart, I knew right away that I wanted to do something. You know, how do we take his death and turn it into something more than just his death? You know, I didn't want somebody in an emergency situation like Alec was in to be turned away from the pharmacy. Alec wasn't an isolated situation. There's a problem because somebody is going to pay it or they're going to die. It's very, very simple. It took 3 times to get this to pass through legislature. There's the emergency program that offers you a 30-day insulin supply for $35. And then there's the ongoing long-term program where you can get a 90-day supply of insulin for $50. And you can utilize that for the entire year and then reapply for the next year. This is life or death for somebody who needs it, and they should not be turned away at the pharmacy because of cost. So I really strongly encourage anybody who is dependent upon insulin. You've had to advocate for yourself for everything, basically. Don't stop advocating for yourself now. Feels good to know that even though we lost Alec, and he should still be here, because of his death, he's paved the way for thousands of other people to live their long, happy, healthy life.